this up just right.
That's why I sit on the other side.
Well, last time you did it with a left-hand turn to the right.
Rock fight, whatever you want to call it, it was all that. One of the really hard challenges is finding out right before the game that the other team's key figures not going to play. And you put a lot of time into scout, you put a lot of time into preparation, guarding actions, guarding, thinking how they're going to play based on what they do around that individual. And all of a sudden, it all goes out the window. And I give Juwan a ton of credit. I give their players a ton of credit. They played harder than we did tonight, which doesn't have me very excited. But it doesn't happen very often. But that's a challenge. It was very different. And if you remember back a year ago when Ayala was out for Maryland, we kind of had the same hiccup. We persevered through this, but when we talked about pregame, and for 2 days, rebounding, and transition D. And the one thing that we did a very good job of tonight was the 3-point line. And you hold the team down like we did defensively to 1-3, 5 assists, and I'll take that. That means our defensive philosophy is working. But I give Michigan a lot of credit. I give the guys a lot of credit. I give our players a lot of credit because we fought through really kind of a lackadaisical effort. And I thought Kofi was huge at the start of the second half, as was Jake Grandison. Big three, big offensive rebound. And then, to be honest, I didn't call a very good game in the first half. We got to let Trent go. We got to put Trent in ball screens. They played a lot of deep coverages with Hunter. They got out and were very, very aggressive tonight with Trent. But again, we'll take the win, 6-0, and it was a night that wasn't pretty. It was two teams that played hard in kind of an ugly game, but glad we had Kofi and Trent and the guys in white tonight.
Any questions for Scott?
And you maybe had more of the not so pretty games in the Big Ten. Is that just going to maybe be what this conference season is? And I guess since you're winning them, is that a good sign?
You watched any games on TV? I watched very little, but when I started watching film, and there's some, I just happened last night because there wasn't anything else on to watch a little bit of Iowa, Indiana, and every game's a rock fight. This league is good. It's got great coaches. They're going to take actions away. They're going to scheme you. But yeah, and we found a way to persevere tonight.
Well, maybe unusual to see Coleman get more tick than DeMonte. You talk about the matchup problems tonight?
Yeah, it wasn't, it was just kind of an unusual night for DeMonte and kind of just didn't have it. And for whatever the reason, and was kind of out of flow. And, it was no different than ending the game the other night with Plummer and Kofi on the bench. Just kind of Coleman was doing some good things. His length was bothering people. And so we went that way.
It seems teams are really pressuring your guards. Felt like your defense a couple years ago tonight, given their personnel. But how has your team reacted to that? Just it seems like teams are focused more on shutting down your guards and pressuring your guards.
Yeah, and Trent's done what he's done, and I think that's where we've got to continue to grow. And I think that's one of the things that. If you do that, it kind of opens up Kofi. Kofi got loose in the first part of the half, and then you start forcing double teams. We turned down, Fonz turned down 4 or 5 threes, and we got to get him shooting it and doing that again instead of driving it. But our ball screen stuff was great tonight, and I didn't go to it early enough. And Trent made so many right decisions, 7 assists, and that's on me.
Could you guys shot it really well in the month of December, and now that the calendar just kind of flipped coming out of COVID, you haven't really shot it as well. I know that's one of the concerns you had coming out of the COVID pause that you have. How do you get back to shooting it really, really well like you were before?
The opponents have a little to do with that too. The scouting is really good. Teams have, I've said it 3 or 4 times now. I mean, teams have changed how they've played some of their own schemes. I mean, we saw a different scheme tonight than Michigan's played. And obviously without Hunter, what they do is a little bit different. So, we saw Minnesota, we saw Nebraska take away threes. That's okay. That's okay. As long as the most important stat is that left-hand column gets slashes put in it, I'm okay.
Because you talked about your ball screen action. It seemed tonight, at least initially, that a lot of those ball screens were happening pretty far out on the floor with Kofi, and I wasn't sure if that was by design or is that kind of more Michigan really forcing those actions higher up?
No advantage us. If you want to go pick up Trent Frazier at the half-court line and pick him up full court, and we're gonna screen you as high up as we can and let Trent get downhill and play in space. You saw what he did in space. He was able to what we call swivel back. He created great opportunities. Trent's becoming a really, really good layup maker. So you want to pick us up that court line, we'll screen you there all night long.
Coach, I cover Michigan. If you wouldn't mind speaking on a couple of players that
Sure.
Played career high minutes for them in Michigan's uniform. Jace Howard, 25, and Karen Fall, 44, I think, off the
Yep.
bench.
No, it's I thought Jace, and the one thing that impresses me with him is how hard he plays. I mean, he's a kid that seemed to get every loose ball. He's battling guys that, Kofi particularly, that are much bigger than him, and then Falls is a guy that competes. He plays hard. He's a guy that he does not hurt them, and he may not be the Hunter guy in terms of running offense through him. He gives them a different piece, but I thought both those guys were terrific, and I love Jace's effort. I thought he played hard. I thought he impacted the game. He gave us a different look because of his ability to guard ball screens. It was advantage them. They did a great job.
You talked about Trent's decision making earlier. How much is having a 5th-year kind of experienced guy you can take games over like him just make you more comfortable?
Yeah, that's what understanding is. We all know he's talented, but having the middle component that comes with that, the confidence. I'm glad he's wearing our uniform.
Fred, you talked about the Maryland game and having to kind of adjust without IL. What did that teach you about how to do that in the course of a game again? And how do you guys just go about doing that kind of quickly as the game's going on?
Well, and today I addressed it. I addressed the Maryland situation when he was out, and we were really flat, and I thought just emotionally just kind of okay, well, we got this, and we didn't have that, and I thought that addressing it tonight, in the locker room before the game, and then all of a sudden, you're just okay. Terrence Williams in a starting role, and a little bit different, and switching matchups, and doing some different things. We felt like that Diabate would go at Kofi early. He did, but it's a different matchup. He's been prepared for Hunter, and now all of a sudden. Not to say we didn't have him prepared for that matchup, but it was different. And it's got some challenges, both mentally as much as emotionally.
Michigan did a lot of things from a hustle play standpoint that you want your team to do. Just what did it take to maybe at least try and match that a little better later in the game?
Yeah, it's we can't let not making a shot or not executing or a turnover affect that part of it. I'm disappointed, and again, we've had quick turns and this and that, and we probably don't spend enough time on diving on loose balls and doing those things in practice. Tonight they just beat us to the ball. They were just quicker to it. They were more energetic. They were more dialed in, and had hats off to them.
Last year was mostly Io and Andre with the ball in their hands. Going into this year, same thing with Andre. Thought that he would be running, orchestrating the offense. How have you seen Trent take that over and succeed as much as he has here recently?
Yeah, he's just, he's so smart, so cerebral. He doesn't Trent very seldom tries to do anything he can't do. And he understands offensively, and if I call out a play, Trent's gonna do everything he can to run it. He's that guy. He's not gonna break off a whole bunch of stuff and go do that. And there's just an extremely high comfort knowing that he's gonna execute. And now, we know he's got the ability to stop and shoot it. We know he's making the right reads. He's now seen them all. That was such a big time play, the pass to Jake in the corner in front of our bench. And, he's playing as well as any guard in this league.
Hey, Coach, so heading into the game, you talked about how you wanted the crowd to come in and have a little fire. What did you think about the crowd today?
It's fine. It was good. I mean, it was kind of it was a hard game to get excited about from our side of things. I thought that, the first half was just, we didn't give them much, even though we were winning, but they're terrific. And again, we're so blessed. And I mean, we're blessed because our fans are the best. They're passionate. And, it was, when we asked them to get up and get going, they did.
Coach, you talked a lot this year about finding ways to win games when you don't shoot the ball very well. You haven't done that the last 4 games, but you've still gone 4-0 here. How do you combat the idea of not shooting it well, but still finding a win, and also trying to shoot it well? Like, how do you combat those two things at the same time, if that makes sense?
Hopefully defense travels. Defense and again, if I have, we shot 47% tonight. It wasn't like we were horrible on the offensive end, but it wasn't rhythmic and as fast paced and all that. But I think the one thing that we talk about daily is, effort travels, defense travels, and rebounding travels. And you have to do those things to win. And when the ball doesn't go in, and you don't think there's going to be NCAA tournament games when the ball doesn't go in because the other team really guards you and crawls up your shorts, and you got to figure it out. And that's why I push. That's why I demand. That's everything I ask for is that effort. So I know when we're in that situation, we can find a way to win like we did tonight.
Brandon, I know every Big Ten game counts the same, but one day you got a top 10 team coming into town, another great crowd, national television. How do you feel your team is ready for this moment and a great opponent with Purdue?
Yeah, Purdue's one of the best teams in the country, and they've been, I don't know, they've been out of the top 3 all year. I don't know. But they're extremely well coached. They're an extremely, talented team. They've obviously got, everybody talks about the size and rightfully so. They've obviously got one of the outstanding guards in America. And, but it seems like every night, we're facing a pro, you look at all the draft stuff and you got, Houston and Diabate as 2 draft picks tonight. And we all know Hunter's an All-American. So it's just one of those nights where you gotta lace them up again, and we're gonna go. It's really talented teams, and they run a ton of actions. And Sasha's been there for as long as Trent has, and they're veterans. And it'll be a team that plays hardest to win.
Brad, Trent is about 34 points from breaking into the program's top 10 all-time scoring. Seems like he'll probably do that, but what has he meant to this program over the last, time he's been here?
Yeah, he's everything. He's the fixture. He and Devontae are the 2 pieces that our culture, or they stand for everything that I want to be about. And guys who show up every day and do their job, they don't ask questions. They find ways to win. They've become winners when they weren't winning early, and they figured that out. And that's really hard. It's really easy to go through life being a loser and just accepting that, because becoming a winner takes hard damn work. And those guys have put in that work and fought through all the adversity and fought through all the naysayers and fought through changing roles and different situations. those are my guys, man. I got their back. I know they got mine, and those are the guys that, you go to war with.
But it just seems like when Trent goes on those runs, he's got this ability to almost singularly control the emotion in this building. Why do you think that is?
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Yeah, well, why specifically for him do you think he's able to do that?
No, I think Trent's energetic. I think he's fun. I think he's, he starts getting it going. He's, Trent's defense doesn't change because he makes a couple shots, but I think people see it as changing. And so the energy on the defensive side gets higher. And Trent's just that guy, man. He is a fun, energetic dude, and it just transcends through the State Farm Center.
Do you remember the last time you held an opponent to a single three-pointer, and are you disappointed that you gave up that single three-pointer?
I don't on either. I don't remember it. When did we give it up? First half? Anybody know? Second?
Yeah, early second.
First half, wasn't it?
Oh, that was first. I thought we were 1 for 7.
Off a loose ball and,
This first half.
Damn, you asked me the question, you don't know the answer. No, it was a goal coming in. We wanted to hold them to 4 or under. And I thought the way as fast as they play in transition, they get a lot of them, and Brooks especially. But again, Trent was phenomenal on Brooks. So, another night where Trent does his job. But, I thought we did a good job on Houston. We made his touches pretty difficult. And, yeah, I'll take that every night.
Anything else? Scott, last question. I don't know.
Trent said his dunk attempt was both his first and his last. Would you like to see him try again?
I wanted to make it. Trent's so freakishly athletic, but here's where he struggles. He doesn't have huge hands, and so sometimes taking that thing up there, he jump size anybody on our team. So watching him dunk, we've seen it, but I just wanted him to make 2 points. I want him to land safely and not get hurt trying to do it. And he can say he was trying to dunk it, and I'll call BS on that because I think it's his feel good moment. So I don't think he was trying.
All right.
Thanks, Andy. No.
Let's go one more.